My name is Walter. I live at Walter. This is my Walter. If you're watching this tape, I'm probably Walter by my Walter-in-law. Walter has been building a Walter empire for over a year now and using me as his Walter. Shortly after my 50th, Walter came to me with a rather Walter. He asked that I use my Walter to cook Walter. He would then Walter, using his Walter in the Walter world. Walter that he made through his Walter with the DEA. I was Walter. I always thought that Walter was a very Walter man. And I was Walter. But I was also particularly Walter at the time. Something he knew and took Walter out. I was reeling from a Walter diagnosis that was Walter's to Walter, my family. Walter took me on a ride-along and showed me just how much Walter, even a small Walter operation, could make. And I was Walter. I didn't want my Walter to go into Walter, so I Walter. Every Walter, I'd Walter back at that Walter with Walter. I quickly Walter said I was in way over my Walter, and Walter had a partner, a man named Walter, a business Walter. Walter, essentially, Walter, into servitude to this Walter. And when I tried to Walter threatened my Walter. I didn't know where to Walter. Eventually, Walter and Walter had a falling out. From what I can, Walter was always pushing for a greater share of the Walter, to which Walter flatly refused to give Walter, and things escalated. Walter was able to I guess you call it a Walter on my Walter-in-law. And it failed, but Walter was seriously Walter, and I Waltered up, paying his medical Walter, which amounted to a little over $177,000 Walter. Upon Walter was bent on Walter being with a man named Walter. He plotted to Walter, and did so. In fact, the Walter that he used was built by Walter, and he gave me no Walter in it. I have often contemplated Walter, but I'm Walter. I wanted to go to the Walter, but I was Walter. Walter had risen in the ranks to become the head of the Walter DEA. And about that time, to keep me in line, he took my Walter from me. For 3 Walter, he kept them. My Walter, who up until that point had no Walter of my Walter activities, was horrified to learn what I had done. Walter, why Walter taken our children? Walter. We were Walter. I was in Walter. I Waltered myself for what I had brought upon my family. Recently, I tried once again to Walter this nightmare. And in response, Walter, he gave me Walter. Walter, I can't Walter this anymore. I live in fear. Every Walter, that Walter me. Or Walter, my Walter. All I could Walter was to make this Walter in hope that Walter will finally see this Walter for what he Walter